They thought she didn't belong there. Not in those worn jeans. Not with her natural hair pulled back. Not standing quietly beside a $180,000 luxury car. Within seconds, the whisper started. Within a minute, the manager pointed. And before 5 minutes had passed, someone said the words that would cost them everything. Security. Get her out. They had no idea the woman they were trying to throw out owned the building. They didn't know she had spent years building that dealership from the ground up. They didn't know she had come undercover for one reason only, to test what her customers were experiencing. And they definitely didn't know that before the day ended, every single one of them would be fired. If stories like this matter to you, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to Black Legacy, because what happened next will leave you speechless. Ava Monroe did not inherit success. She built it. Raised in a working-class neighborhood in Atlanta, Ava grew up watching her mother work double shifts as a nurse's aide while her father ran a struggling auto repair shop from a single-car garage. She learned early that respect wasn't handed out equally, especially not in the automotive industry. As a child, she would sit in that garage, watching customers walk past her father and look around for the real mechanic. She noticed how often assumptions were made before introductions. Those lessons stayed with her. By 34, Ava had done what few expected. She earned an MBA, worked her way up in corporate automotive sales, and eventually acquired majority ownership in a high-end luxury dealership chain across 3 states. Her flagship showroom, Monroe Elite Motors, was known for its marble floors, glass walls, and 6-figure vehicles lined in perfect symmetry. From the outside, it symbolized prestige. From the inside, Ava believed it symbolized opportunity. But over the past 6 months, something had been bothering her. Complaints, not about vehicles, not about financing, about treatment. Subtle ones at first. Emails from customers saying they were ignored. Reviews mentioning staff seemed selective with their attention. One detailed message from a black couple who said they were followed around the showroom, while others were offered champagne. The management team insisted it was a misunderstanding. They blamed overworked staff. They blamed miscommunication. Ava didn't believe in assumptions. She believed in evidence. So she created a plan no one saw coming. She would visit her flagship dealership unannounced. Not as CEO, not in designer suits, not arriving in a driver's car. She would go undercover, dress simply, no makeup team, no assistant, no announcement. If there was bias, she would experience it herself. And on a quiet Thursday afternoon, she walked to the glass doors of Monroe Elite Motors unnoticed. The showroom gleamed. Luxury vehicles sat under bright white lights. Sales associates in tailored suits stood near desks laughing lightly, holding crystal glasses filled with sparkling water for preferred customers. Ava walked slowly, observing. No one greeted her. She paused beside a midnight black sports car priced at $182,000. She ran her fingers lightly across the hood, examining the detailing. Still nothing. Across the room, a white couple entered. Within seconds, 2 salesmen approached them with warm smiles, extended hands, and offers of refreshments. Ava watched carefully. 5 minutes passed. A young salesman glanced in her direction, then looked away. His expression carried something between confusion and dismissal. Another associate leaned toward him and whispered. Ava pretended not to notice. She moved toward a luxury SUV. She opened the door gently and examined the interior stitching. That's when she heard heels clicking sharply against marble floors. The general manager, Patricia Langford, approached with tight lips and narrowed eyes. Patricia had been hired 2 years prior. Polished, well-spoken, recommended by corporate consultants. She had glowing metrics on paper. But metrics didn't measure humanity. Patricia stopped a few feet away from Ava. She didn't smile. She didn't introduce herself. She scanned Ava from head to toe. The silence was deliberate. And then Patricia turned slightly and gestured toward security near the entrance. That single motion would unravel everything. The security officer hesitated at first. Ava noticed that. He looked uncertain, glancing between Patricia and the woman standing calmly beside a 6-figure vehicle. Patricia's expression hardened. She whispered something. The officer straightened and began walking toward Ava. Around them, The showroom buzzed as usual. Salesmen laughed with clients. Champagne glasses clinked softly. A red sports car engine purred during a demonstration. Ava's heart beat steadily, not from fear, but from confirmation. This was exactly why she had come. The officer stopped a respectful distance away. He cleared his throat. Ava turned toward him slowly. Patricia stepped closer now, voice raised just enough to draw attention. Other employees were beginning to watch. A salesman smirked. Another folded his arms. Ava noticed something that stung more than anything else. Not one person questioned the situation. Not one person asked if she needed help. Assumptions filled the air thicker than perfume. Patricia pointed subtly toward the exit. The officer shifted uncomfortably. Ava calmly asked for clarification. Patricia's voice sharpened. The words echoed across marble and glass. Security. Get her out. Time seemed to pause. Several customers looked confused. One elderly man frowned. The officer gently reached toward Ava's arm but stopped short. And that was when Ava did something no one expected. She smiled. Not a sarcastic smile. Not an angry smile. A calm, knowing smile. Then she reached into her tote bag. Patricia's eyes narrowed further. The salesman leaned forward. Ava pulled out a slim leather portfolio. From it, she removed a laminated executive access card. She held it up. Steady, clear. The Monroe Elite Motors corporate seal, reflected in the showroom lights. The silence became suffocating. Patricia's face drained of color. The officer stepped back immediately. The smirking salesman straightened his jacket. Ava's voice remained composed as she asked for a staff meeting. Now, no raised tones. No threats. Just authority. Within minutes, the champagne glasses were gone. Customers were politely ushered outside with apologies about a private executive matter. Every employee gathered in the center of the showroom, the same marble floor where moments earlier they had tried to remove her. Ava stood in front of them, no longer undercover, no longer invisible. She explained why she came. She detailed the complaints she had received. She described what she had experienced in the last 15 minutes. No embellishment, no emotion in her tone, just facts. She pointed out how long she had stood, without acknowledgement, how security had been summoned without conversation, how other customers were greeted instantly. The employees shifted uncomfortably. Patricia attempted to speak. Ava raised a hand gently. Then she said the words that would change their careers forever. You are all fired. Gasps rippled through the room. Some protested. Some pleaded. Some looked at Patricia for leadership. But leadership had already failed. Ava clarified that an internal audit would begin immediately. Diversity and bias training would become mandatory across all locations. Hiring practices would be reevaluated. Anonymous customer reporting would be strengthened. This wasn't anger. It was accountability. And accountability felt heavier than rage. Patricia's composure cracked first. Her voice trembled as she attempted to defend her decision. She claimed it was about brand image. She implied there had been concerns. Ava asked a single question. What concern did I present? Silence. Patricia had no answer that didn't expose the truth. The salesman who had laughed earlier now avoided eye contact. The security officer stood rigid, shame washing across his face. Ava made it clear the termination was effective immediately. HR representatives, already alerted during her identity reveal, entered the showroom. Laptops opened. Access badges were deactivated in real time. The symbolism was undeniable. The very system they used to judge customers now judged them. But Ava wasn't finished. She explained that the dealership would close for 48 hours. It would reopen with new leadership, with transparent customer service protocols, with visible diversity in staffing, with a zero-tolerance policy on discrimination, not just in words, but in measurable practice. The moment wasn't explosive. It was controlled, which made it even more powerful. Because true power doesn't shout. It corrects. As Patricia handed over her badge, her earlier confidence had vanished. The same finger that had pointed toward the exit now trembled while removing a name tag. The irony did not need commentary. Outside, customers who had witnessed part of the scene were already posting online. Videos circulated. Within hours, Monroe Elite Motors trended for something unexpected. Not scandal. Reform. A CEO who tested her own company and held it accountable publicly. And in that marble showroom, amid silence and stunned faces, Ava proved something she learned long ago in her father's garage. Respect is not optional. 48 hours later, Monroe Elite Motors reopened. The transformation was visible immediately. New staff stood near the entrance, trained to greet every customer within 10 seconds. Clear signage reinforced inclusivity and service standards. Customer feedback kiosks were placed near exits. Ava walked through again, this time announced. She watched a young black couple enter hesitantly. Before doubt could form, a sales associate approached them warmly, offering assistance without assumption. Ava didn't smile outwardly, but inside, she felt something settle. Not satisfaction, restoration. News outlets covered the story. Business journals praised the decisive leadership. Diversity consultants reached out to partner. But the real impact wasn't media attention. It was the message that power can look like the person you underestimate. That ownership doesn't always announce itself. That accountability, when enforced, reshapes culture. Ava later implemented quarterly undercover visits across all her locations, not to trap employees, but to ensure fairness lived beyond policy manuals. And slowly, customer complaints shifted. Reviews began mentioning feeling welcomed, feeling respected, feeling seen. The dealership's revenue actually increased because dignity is good business. But more importantly, dignity is right. And somewhere in Atlanta, in a small garage where a young girl once watched her father get overlooked, a lesson had come full circle. Never assume someone's worth based on appearance. Never mistake silence for weakness. And never forget that the person you try to remove might be the one holding the keys. If this story moved you, if you believe accountability matters, make sure you like, share, and comment below. And most importantly, subscribe to Black Legacy for more powerful stories that expose injustice, demand respect, and remind the world that dignity always wins. Because the next story might just change how you see everything.